Yeah.
Lieutenant General Konsem Himalaya Singh, the son of Manipur, the man who knows Manipur like no one else. A great soldier, a patriot, an Indian, a Bharatiya, a common man today. Somebody who knows the nuances of the soil of Northeast, the environment and air of Northeast. He knows the culture. He knows the the nitty-gritties of socio-economic and political environment of the entire Northeast, left aside Manipur. Avid patron, friend, well-wisher to the forum. We are welcoming him again today in the new year, with a wish, with a desire that this monologue today, with this kind of discussion today, will help the entire nation and the strange state of Manipur, burning like never before, to my knowledge, to come back to normalcy and grow. Because the idea, concept, and vision of Viksit Bharat, Vishwaguru Bharat, somebody who professes or desires to profess peace, leadership, growth, humanity, values, Hinduism, Hindutva to the world. And Manipur being a Hinduism following state, now with all that in the backdrop, Manipur has to come back to normalcy, be integrated with the mainstream as soon as possible. I'm not very sure how many people outside Manipur would realize the kind of inexplicably traumatic experiences that they might be facing every day in their regular life. Because just imagine if something like that would be happening outside your house in Calcutta or in Delhi or in Chennai, wherein something was burning, suddenly there were gunshots, women were being stripped naked, being pulled with their hairs down, with 2,000 people following them, jumping, molesting them. This is what probably. So I cannot. I don't want to talk about it. General KH Singh, take us through Manipur. We know. History and all. Leave it. Want to know what has been happening over the last 1 year. What have the central government agencies done to rectify, resurrect? What are the gaps and how long? And what are the things required and how long can we? Can I, as a human being, expect to catch a flight from somewhere and go to Imphal? And people there should start feeling that they have not been left behind by the Union of India. So General KH Singh, over to you. Take us through Manipur 2023-24 and beyond.
Okay. Thank you, Amit, for inviting me to this show. At the outset, as you rightly said, we will not go back in history. We will not discuss about what were the causes for this conflict. We will not go back in various reasons for this conflict between the communities. So my focus will be, as you said, what is the way ahead? How do we see the future? How can things be, streamlined? So this is what actually
with a small introduction to the genesis of the conflict and how in contemporary memory this has vulcanized and erupted now, and to reach this boiled up stage today, and it looks almost incorrigibly volcanic and unstoppable. So with that kind of a introductory background, could you please start, sir?
Okay. To begin with, the violence in Manipur started on 3rd of May 2023, primarily between two communities. And why has this violence broken out in May 2023 has got many reasons: historical, then geography, then our legal system, demography. All these combined have contributed to this conflict. I will go back a bit of history. Manipur as a kingdom has existed for 2000 years, and it has generally been established that many communities in this part of the country have coexisted together for thousands of years. Though the kingdom was ruled by Meitei, means one of the majority community here. Since the British days, the British actually defeated the Manipuri army in 1891. After that, the British administration came into being. The British administration divided the administration of the hills and the valleys, the hills being indirectly or being managed by them administratively by the British, and the valley was directly ruled by the king, even though the hill areas were part of the kingdom of Manipur. That is the historical part. Then in 1891, when the British ruled, they found the hill people were not Hindus, whereas most of the valley people were Hindus. So they found it easy to convert them into Christianity. That is how the Christianity was introduced in the British, during the British period, that is around early 19th century. Comprising particularly the Naga groups.
Early 20th century.
Yeah, early 19th century. Early 19th century. The demographic structure can broadly be, classified into three categories, maybe four also, three categories: the Meitei Hindu population, the Naga tribe population, Kuki tribe population, and about 8 to 9% of the Meitei Muslim community. So this is a demographic profile of this. While the Meitei Hindus and Muslims stay in the 9% of the territory, very small area, hardly 700 square kilometers. The density in the 700 square kilometers, population density today amounts to approximately 1,000 per square kilometers. And in the hills, it is approximately 35 to 37 per square kilometer. There are certain kind of traditional customary laws or customarily, and also some laws exist where the Muslims and the Meitei Hindus are not allowed, are not permitted to settle down in the hill areas. Hill areas form about 91% of the territory. Whereas anybody can come and settle down in this very small area of 700 square kilometers of the valley. Anybody from anywhere in India can come. So these were certain divisive kind of laws which have been in existence for quite a long time, particularly after the British administration came into being in sometime around 1891 onwards. That is a historical this. Later on, after independence or around the time before independence, because of the Naga tribes, raids into British interests, the British encouraged certain Kuki groups. Kuki groups were already there in Manipur, but they encouraged more people to come from Burma and other places, so that they could neutralize. They were used to neutralize the Naga tribes raiding the British interests. So therefore, some kind of a divide and rule game was being played. Then came the World War II. during the World War II, as you know, most of the Naga tribes supported the British war effort, whereas many Kuki tribes supported the Japanese. So like that, things had been building up since this period. So well after independence, what had happened is that the majority Meiteis, valley people, because the population is more, approximately 50, anything between, earlier it was about 60% of the population was in the valley. So we had political weight of maximum number of, political representative from the valley. And in the hills, though it comprises about 91% of the territory, they comprised of hardly about 34% of the population in the hills. So the political dominance was with the valley people. So you have seen so many imbalance which is taking place. Imbalance of demography, imbalance of territory, imbalance of rules, regulations, whatever it was. Hindus and Christians, but more or less they have been coexisting together for a few centuries at least. Then came the Naga insurgency, then the Mizo insurgency. During the Mizo insurgency, some ethnically affiliated groups of Manipur, got the idea that we are from the same Kuki, Mizo, Chin kind of a group, so we must have a greater kind of a Mizoram. That kind of idea was also floated. Whereas in the north, because of the Naga insurgency in the Naga hills then, they started talking about Naga limb and Naga, for the Nagas and greater Naga limb and things like that. So therefore, the historical process to constrict the vast kingdom of Manipur at one time got slowly got constricted towards the valley areas. And in the midst of all these insurgencies, the developmental works in the hill areas also suffered. Developmental work suffered not only because of the insurgency, but because of lack of governance and massive corruption at various levels of the government, both in the administrative as well as political levels. This is the genesis, actually, is of the ethnic crisis, because ethnic crisis has taken place many times. In 92, 93, we had Naga Kuki clashes. Then 97, we had Kuki Paite clashes within the same Kuki Mizo. So, and then Meitei, and the Muslim classes, and again 93. So there have been many there's fueled by the insurgency movements, then border management, where our border is not managed at all at present. It's a free flow, free movement regime is there of guns, culture, drugs, everything, of illegal migrants. All these combined are at the backdrop of the conflict today. How did it 3rd May 2023 occur, or what were the immediate causes? Immediate causes began when the present government of Manipur started active kind of a action against the encroachments in reserve forest and such, reserve and protected forest, number one. War on drugs, and also regarding, various kind of population control, demographic, people, they started identifying people coming illegally from Myanmar. These were some of the immediate causes. And then particularly encroachment and drug was a major issue, encroachment in the drug areas. So the one party in this conflict, I will call it cookie chin people, they started claiming that why are we being, driven out from the forest area, which is our land. The state government replied that there are more number of Hindu Meiteis and Nagas and Muslims being driven out of illegal encroachment. Why are you having problems? So this is basically that trust deficit, as far as encroachment is concerned. The second point I mentioned was about the drugs. Cookie people, they said that, drug business, drug trade, everyone is involved. Why are you only targeting us? The government said the maximum number of FIR against drug traffickers are against the Muslims in Manipur. Approximately 55% of the people. But the larger other about 40% are cookies, and the 10% are all Naga, Meitei, and other, that is the figure given out by the government. So again, the same trust deficit. Means cookies have a point, or why are you targeting us? Government is saying we are not targeting you, we are targeting everybody, as far as the drug trade is concerned. So there was a trust deficit. Then identifying of the illegal migrants. There was a committee formed led by a cabinet minister, a cookie minister, to identify illegal migrants which have come from Myanmar. So in a matter of about 10 days, they identified about over 2,400, or I don't exactly remember the figure, but it was definitely around 2,400 identified. So then they felt that maybe why this identification is being done only in cookie-dominated area. So this was so overall what was happening, the cause of this 3rd May violence was about, trust deficit, fear, then, rumor mongering. Then finally, it was about the demand for scheduled tribe by the Meiteis. There was a High Court judgment sometime in April, which said that directed the state government to reply and to consider to recommend to the center grant of ST status to the Meiteis. That was actually the trigger. Because the tribal bodies, they felt that if the Meiteis, the major Hindus, are given tribal status, their reservation, their rights, and their everything will be gone. That's what they felt, that it will be gone. So they opposed it. So they formed groups in order to oppose. So there was a tribal solidarity march around end of April or so in the hill areas. In that tribal solidarity march, there were 2 communities, the Nagas and Kukis. In the Naga areas, there was no violence. But in the Kuki-dominated area, one town called Chorachandpur in the south of Manipur, somehow a lot of videos coming out depicted that march as some kind of armed with weapons and with, so that created some kind of a problem. Finally, on the 3rd of May, around in the morning itself, a lot of miscreants started burning down the forest houses in that area, Chorachandpur area, dominated by Kuki people. Forest areas and other government offices, they started burning down. And then by about 2-3 o'clock, there was solid violence there. And many Hindu Meitei people, about 6,000 of them, they ran away to various places, some to the Assam Rifles camp, some to BSF camp, like that. So that was the trigger. In retaliation, by about 5 p.m., 7 p.m. in the evening of 3rd, the Meiteis retaliated against the Kuki people in the capital town of Imphal. And there was mayhem for about 48 to 72 hours. Many people were killed. Unfortunate things happened for, it is now 8 months today, in fact, precisely completed 8 months. And over 200 people have died of both the communities. And many paramilitary, army, Assam Rifles have been deployed all along the sensitive areas. The Home Minister himself visited Imphal on 27th of May. He announced a number of steps to control the situation. I also personally met him during his visit. I had the privilege of meeting him. A number of steps were announced to contain the violence. I mean, I don't want to go into the details. All those steps were definitely well thought out. But somehow the violence level keeps going up and down. Only a few days back, many people were.
Did the Prime Minister did the Prime Minister pay a visit in the last 8 months?
Last 8 months, many people are asking why is the Honorable Prime Minister not visited Manipur, but so far, unfortunately, he hasn't visited. But Home Minister stayed for 2 days.
National Commission for Women Chairperson Rekha Sharma, did she visit?
Yes, he did visit. She did come. And what has happened now is that many insurgent groups have
two more small interceptions. Two more small interceptions, sir. Emergency, is it a solution?
What do you mean emergency? President's rule?
Yeah.
I really don't think that will be a solution today. But then if the situation worsens, they may think of, it's a political question what you are asking. But if the violence continues unabated, perhaps they may consider. But okay. I'm not privy to the this. But as of now, I feel that there are other ways of sorting out or resolving the issue.
One thing that has come out is the NCW chairperson, she flew all the way from Delhi to Manipur, Imphal. You're confirming that?
Wait a minute. See, I was absent for quite some time, for 2-3 months during this last 8 months here. About 3 months I was in the US.
Okay, we'll get a confirmation. Conclusively, we'll try to find out. But the NCW team, do they visit the NCW team? Do they visit the NCPC or NCW?
Some team, various teams did come, but I'm yet to confirm about whether the chairperson visited or not.
And apart from the Home Minister's visit on the 27th of May, he has almost 2-3 ministers. Then we have the entire battery council of ministers who had a rotatory job. So what has been the frequency of visits of the deputies and the other top council and cabinet ministers from the government of India over the last 8 months?
So, see, in the last 8 months, things have changed so dramatically that I have not come across cabinet ministers from the center visiting, but they were, I think, MOS home had visited prior to the visit of Mr. Amit Shah. Then
which MOS home?
MOS home.
Nishit Pramanik, Nityanand Rai, Ajay Mishra.
Yeah, Mr. Nityanand, because I met him also. Yeah,
and Ajay Mishra and others.
I'm not come across any other visit.
Cabinet ministers, none of them. Cabinet ministers, none of them have come.
No, I don't think so.
Donor minister, Mr. Kishan Reddy.
Kishan Reddy, I'm not very sure who all visited. I only remember whom I met during their visit. Yeah.
What has been the role of the NEC in this entire process?
Unfortunately, NEC, Northeastern Council, um, my understanding is that their involvement in security matters are either non-existent or at least I don't think they have got involved in any manner. A very good question, because I am of the opinion that NEC should have some role in the security matters of the Northeast India. That is why your question is very valid. As
71, when we go back to 71, the genesis of entire this thing, can be linked to some extent. NEC's role has to be more pronounced. Sir, please carry on with whatever you wanted to talk about the situation and the future and the way forward.
okay. First thing is NEC's definitely role must be enhanced in the security matters because of the because of the sensitive nature of security in the Northeast. That is one. And I was telling you that the number of insurgent groups who were otherwise getting dormant, now they have become live, and that thousands and thousands of weapons have been looted. Thousands of weapons have come from Myanmar because, as you know, Myanmar is very, very unstable
What was
now.
NCB doing for so many years? NCB, National,
Yeah.
not as, this thing, the Narcotics Bureau.
Yeah. So now the way ahead, the way ahead. The
No,
present
sir, my
situation.
question is this drug racketeering and this entire drug cartel has really, propelled itself to unprecedented heights in the last few years. What has been the role of the NCB, the National Narcotics Bureau?
My assessment of the drug volume of drug is, I think once I told you that it cannot be less than 60,000 crores a year. That is the kind of volume that it's just an extrapolation of the volume, because each year about 2,000 crore rupees worth of drugs are intercepted by the security forces, mainly the Assam Rifles.
Do we have this entire thing, and does this entire thing have an impact according to you from a PMLA, that is the money laundering and the terror funding activity perspectives? Do they have an impact?
Obviously, Amit, wherever the drugs are there, wherever the weapons are there, wherever the illegal money is there will be violence.
And are there localites who are really making hay while the drug shines?
I am of the opinion that the entire violence, entire anti-national activities in the Northeast, particularly Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, are funded by drug trade. And also the combination of drugs, illegal money, and weapon is a sure recipe for violence anywhere. Anywhere. This is the type of situation.
And you think there are some magnates who are controlling this? There are some kingpins who are controlling this in Northeast?
Yes. Obviously, these traffickers can operate on their own without drug kingpins, and the money trail has to be identified. Only then this business will. Otherwise, there are international gangs going around. It's a massive, massive. Let me assure you that it's a massive racket going on.
So the ED, I'm sure the ED and the FIU would be listening. Under the finance ministry, they would be listening to these facts, bare facts coming out from the horse's mouth.
I don't know what, but then I definitely know that the drug money, illegal money, and weapons, they're all part of the same problem. Yeah.
Sir, please carry on.
Yeah, as far as the way forward is concerned, I have strongly recommended, I feel the government has made a number of attempts actually to solve the problem, including CSOs, individuals, think tanks, and thinkers, philosophers, educationists, what have you. But positive results have not come so far. So therefore, the the center the center has to facilitate a political dialogue between the political leadership of both the communities, and not only both, all the communities in Manipur. That can be, to my view, facilitated by the center only. And many political leaders will be willing. Most of them may not be willing, but there are ways and means to make them agree to talk at least. So therefore, that is the first thing. The second issue, which must go side by side, is that de-weaponizing the society, in the sense that the entire thousands of weapons that are in circulation, illegal weapons, in the hands of uh, many, young people, organized insurgent groups, unorganized, gangs. So all that have to be recovered. Those weapons have to be recovered. As I said earlier, weapons and money are dangerous cocktails. So at least the weapons must
So
be.
law and order is a complete, failure. It seems from whatever you are telling me. And what is the say of Mr. Biren Singh on this? Because he is holding the chair with the union in unison with him.
See, I'll say security matters are being. In fact, I just had a very cordial meeting with the security advisor. He is in charge of the security because he is because he's the coordinator, he's the chairman of the unified headquarters, not the CM. So therefore, they are doing their best. The chief minister and security advisor and all other stakeholders, they are doing their best. But somehow, the violence level have relatively been, relatively come down significantly. But the problem has not gone away as yet. Problem will continue, to my mind, for some more time. And all-out efforts have to be made by the center, by other stakeholders, because it's a very, very different situation in Manipur. As I gave you the historical background and the cocktail of loose border, porous border, then illegal money, illegal drugs, weapons, illegal weapons. So therefore, it's a very dicey situation. But I have a lot of hope that the actions being taken by the center, state, and the security forces, who have done a great job. The Assam Rifles, the army, the elements of other security forces, the Manipur police, they are doing their bit. So hopefully things will settle down. But the main issue that I would like to flag is that the center
So, Rakesh, would you like to add